Hello there, World of Tankers, and welcome to the channel. I'm of course your host, the Droodles, Blitz, and in today's video, I'll be asking a very big debated question when it comes to the World of Tanks Blitz community, especially regarding the new Japanese Heavies, mobility or gun depression. Now, when it comes to the Tier 9, it's 100% mobility, because it really doesn't have great turn armor, so you don't need the gun depression to give you any extra armor that you're not going to have. When it comes to the Tier 8 and the Tier 7, I'm running gun depression because they're not very fast. The Tier 8 only goes 35 kilometers per hour, and I think that's the same as well for the Tier 7, yeah. So when it comes to mobility on the Tier 7 and Tier 8, I'd much rather have gun depression because they don't really reach a super high top speed, and I'd just rather be more flexible. But the Tier 10 goes 40, and unlike the Tier 9, it actually has great hull down capabilities. So now this is a really tricky question. Do you want mobility to get really quickly into the front line, have insane traverse speed to wiggle and bounce shells, or do you want the gun depression to be a lot more flexible on ridge lines? That's exactly what we're going to be talking about in today's video. I have done a fair bit of experimenting with both of these options, getting very good replays out to show you guys today. So I'm going to showcase two of the better games I've had, and I gotta say, it's 50-50 for me. I really like the mobility. It definitely lets you get away with a lot more, especially getting out of tricky situations. If you've put yourself in a spot that you want to get out of, the mobility will definitely allow you to do that. If you're being flanked by a light tank, the mobility lets you keep up with them on your traverse, especially because your turret traverse is so bad. Although there is one downside I have noticed with the mobility, is that sometimes you turn your hull so fast that your turret can't actually keep up with it, and you end up missing the shell, but that's just more of a skill issue on my part. Let me know if you guys have had that happen. But yeah, when it comes to the mobility, Flossie and I are both running it right here in this replay, and you're gonna see us get one of the craziest carries out because we're running the mobility. The gun depression was not needed for this game, and it's a perfect example to showcase where you don't need it. If I was running the gun depression, I most likely would have gone up this hill, would have gone up to the front line, and sort of worked hull down. But because I'm running the mobility, we actually ended up winning this battle. If I was running gun depression, I can quite confidently say we probably wouldn't have won this game. So you can see I've pushed way up in the front line, super duper aggressive. I've gotten 2 shells into the STB one already, and here's the Type 71 on their team. He's got to back off. So already, that's great. We've pushed off their Type 71. He's running the gun depression, which is just amazing for me because I'm able to push him off of this hill, and he's going to have a very tricky time trying to get close to us whatsoever. STB, let's aim in a shell in his hatch. Thank you very much. I'm not sure what our Sheridan's doing. I'm going to be completely honest on that part. But even with the Sheridan being taken out in a moment, it doesn't matter too much because Flossie and I are still quite healthy and we're holding this hill. There you go. Nice shot right into the Type 71. I wiggle my tank a little bit and he misses my hatch. Okay, we've dealt 1,500 damage, but the bad news is the rest of my team isn't going to do great here. Flossie whiffs his shell, but it's all good. He's trying to hit his hatch. I'm holding off the Type 71 while that's going on. Alright, so, ooh, that's a 515 bounce as well, gotta be careful there, but the Type 71's not paying attention to me shooting at Flossie, misses his shell, and I'm able to get a shell right into the lower plate. Now, if I was running the gun depression here, it could have helped me to shoot this Type 71, but I don't need it, although do wish I had a bit better RNG for that shot, but I definitely don't need the gun depression in this situation. You can see that I've just been able to use my mobility back up very quickly if I need to. Oh, there you go. Nice shot into the tortoise, although I do get tapped in my turret. But at this point, you might notice that it's a 3 versus 7. Yeah, that's right, a 3 versus 7. So I told Flossie, we need to push this. You push ahead because you've got a bit more health than me. I'll deal with the Type 71. You clear the STB. So that's exactly what happens. He clears the STB. I'm dealing with the Type. He pens 1 shell. I pen 1 shell. You can see there we did not need the gun depression whatsoever to clear that Type 71. Now I'm going to use my great mobility, and Flossie's going to try and use his, and I'm going to get off to the side of this tortoise. He's going to try and scrape him off. Nice. And there you go. He's off to the side of the tortoise. I spot the 183, which is obviously a big threat. But good news is that my heat shell rolls right into the roof and finishes off that enemy tortoise. Alright, so I know the 183 is in front of me, so that's something I got to keep an eye on. And apart from the 183, what else do they have? They got a Hori and a Type 68. Now, from what I've last seen, the Type 68 and Hori are off to the side, as you can see. They've just cleared my last teammate, which is bad, because Flossie and I, well, we're not the healthiest, and especially with this situation here in a 183 looking at us, I just got to go for it. I said, I'm going to take the shell, and then you start penning the 183 as well. So as soon as the 183 fired, Flossie's getting as well here, and now this is where the mobility is great. You could not do this with the gun depression. The fact that I've been able to use this mobility, get to the side of the 183, and now completely pincer this guy, this is where the mobility is so much better. I'm almost up to 5,000 damage, and I can tell you for a fact, we probably would have lost this battle if I wasn't running the mobility. The fact that we were able to push so aggressively in the ending part of this battle, and because of that, sure, I'm down to 700 health and Flossie's down to 500, but the good news is that we have cleared the 183. We know the Heavies not super healthy, and when it comes to the Type 68, well, you're going to see what happens to him in just a moment. But either way, I'm going to push very aggressively right up the hill. I know that the best position you want to be in a situation like this, in a 2 versus 2, is in a spot where you can spot your opponents. Because if you don't know where your opponents are, especially a vehicle like a Heavy, Flossie's a possible one-shot. So if he gets hit, he dies. I need to make sure that he doesn't die. So I need to spot this Heavy. So you can see I'm pushing up this hill, and again, the mobility gives me the opportunity to get up this hill so much faster. That is just the part where the mobility is amazing, and this is why players like his Royal Fatness and a lot of the pro players like MJ55, he was part of the Joker team that even won the Twister Cup, they like to run the mobility because it gives you the opportunity to just easily breeze through hills like this. I mean, I can easily climb this hill, no problem whatsoever. And now this Heavy gets slapped by Flossie, which is great. Unfortunately, it's a low roll. But either way, I'm just sitting here. I'm trying to think of what I want to do. There's a Type 68. And as soon as I spot him, I say, okay, yeah, he's AFK. So I'm just going to push over here. I'm going to get a shell into the rear of this Heavy. Goodbye. And there you have it. Now, all I need to do is farm an AFK. And I think Flossie even gets a couple shells in here as well. So this was a good battle. This is a great battle to showcase really the mobility in full form. This was a fantastic carry where Flossie was able to do a pretty solid job. I was able to do a pretty solid job. There you go. I was able to break 6,000 damage. He gets a nice shell in, and finally I'm going to ram him a speed. Nice. And there you have it. So that's the mobility in full form, doing everything you'd need to see the tank do. This is the highest damage game I've actually done in the tank so far, and yeah, definitely showcased everything you need to see. So now let's go over to the gun depression. This is a game I played with Spacebots on Mayan Ruins today. So today was the day I was messing around with the gun depression. I hadn't used the gun depression module at all during my live stream, and then I hopped over to gun depression today to see how it works out. You can definitely see right off the bat just how much more flexible that gun goes down. There is one thing I wanted to talk about as well, which I'm going to make a little short video on. If you're running gun depression on this tank, the enemy opponents do not see you running the gun depression. It's kind of weird. Yeah, Wargaming messed up big time. So when you're running the gun depression module, when you're looking at an opponent and they're looking at you, when they look at you, it only looks like you actually have 6 degrees of gun depression because that's what the tank has base. So it's kind of bugged. It's really bugged. That's why you may have been shot by Type 71s that are hull down that look like they only have 6 degrees and then they magically hit you in the hatch. So what am I going to do in this situation? Well, I'm going to get a shell into the 57. Nice. There you go. 433 damage tap there. And, well, we got the Type 71 off to the side. Okay. So this is a weird battle starting off. I know that this Type 71 is basically trying to do the exact same thing I'm trying to do, which is deal with the mediums. I'm trying to make sure this Type 71 can't do that. And I just need to make a decision. Do I want to push? Yeah, I'm just going to push. So this is where I just need to use the still great acceleration this tank has, at least in a straight line, and push over towards the mediums. So here we go. We got the AMX 30B. Nice shot right into his tank. And all right, so at least I've been able to push this 30B back. I do get a nice bounce. We got the E50 off to the side. Okay, aiming at a shell on this 30B. And oh, what? Yeah, I got robbed there. I got absolutely robbed. This here is a situation to easily show how the gun depression can be better, though, because if I was working this spot with 6 degrees, it wouldn't go very well. I would have to expose my lower plate drive over the bridge to shoot at this Type 71. But because I'm running the gun depression, as you can see, easy shell right into the 57 heavy, and I'm just easily working this position. So what are we going to do here? They got a lot of health. They still got basically all full health tanks on their team, which is really bad news for me. So maybe not on this this Type 71. Nice shot right into his hatch. All right, I'll take it. We got 1,953 damage on the board, and again, this is where that gun depression is just great, is I'm just using it completely against this Type 71. There you go, another nice pen. That was just a really big AP low roll, 333, but at least we were able to get the shell out anyway. We got the 60 TP off to the side, aiming. Rip. Shell velocity. I got to get used to the shell velocity on this tank. It's kind of slow, but not too bad. But yeah, definitely got to get used to it. We got the Type 71 off to the side, 60 TP. Space is doing a fantastic job holding them off, and yeah, that was just an unfortunate shot. Nothing else to say there. But yeah, Space is doing a great job. He's off to the side, as you can see with the M60, holding off these two heavies. And while they're holding them off, I'm over here, although get slapped right in that hatch. Man, is that hatch a weak spot sometimes. And I bounce off his hatch. Anger. Well, either way, still sitting here. I got to figure out what I want to do. And the main thing I'm trying to do right now is finish off that 60 TP. And there you go, finally. That 60 was the player I was really worried about because I don't want to lose 600 of my health when trying to deal with somebody else as well. So as well, nice slap right into the side of that Type 71. We're going to back up. All right, so I've helped out Space. Now I'm going to help myself out. We got the Type 71 in front of me. So let's see what I'm going to do here. I'm going to load in a heat shell. Ooh, almost had it on his turret cheek, but, well, that's a much easier shot, isn't it there? 183, free damage into him. And now I'm going to start backing up. This 57 heavy, I think he only had one shell in his gun, so that's perfect for me, because now he has no shells. So there's one shell into the 57. I told Space, all you got to do is keep that 183 from pushing me. So he's dealing with the 183, completely distracting him, and that's perfect for me, because even if the 183 does finish off Space, at least I have the hit points and hold down spot right here. And this is where the gun depression is amazing. If I was only using 6 degrees, there's no way I would be able to work this position here. But there you go. First shell right into the 183. We've broken 4,000 damage now. And again, just completely working this hull down spot. Nice bounce right on the roof. This tank only has the hatch on the one side of the tank. So what that means is that I was poking with the other side where it's not weak. We're going to aim in a shell right onto his turret cheek. And there you have it. So we get a clear. 5,251 damage later. And one stressful game when it was actually going on. But yeah, that's a dub. So I would say that it's down to your personal playstyle. For good players out there, I would say that mobility is just the way to go. Like, if you understand really how to position the tank, you know you can panel all of your shells, it's going to be better for you because you can give yourself more opportunities. And as you saw for that first battle, I was so quick that I was able to stop the enemy Type 71 from even pushing into the front line. So that's great. When it comes to the gun depression, if you're a hull down player, if you're like me and you really love hull down tanks, then it might work out for you because there are a lot of vehicles that have the hull down playstyle and the gun depression can be great. But definitely the mobility, it seems, is the way to go. But it's 50-50 and it's up for you to decide on your own playstyle. If you like to hold a lot more and you don't like pushing, then gun depression. But if you are an aggressive player and you can make those aggressive pushes work, then that mobility will be insane. Hopefully you enjoyed today's video and I'll be seeing you in the next one. Bye-bye.